So I recently made this video on Darwin's game, which wasn't really well received. I don't tend to get many views anyway, but the video had like 3 times more dislikes, as you can see, although stats probably changed by the time I uploaded this. Anyways, I got into arguments with some fans in the comments, some even questioning the reason I made such a hateful video for this series, and considering the shitstorm that last video caused, and now that Darwin's game is quite the topic, I thought it's a good time to make this one too. I still stand by my criticisms for the series. In fact, I got more to add that I forgot to mention last time, so get ready for that. This video is just to better explain my motives. First of all, that video was titled Darwin's Game is So Stupid, which means the focus is to be kind of a rant to point out the flaws of the episode and chapters I was covering. I thought it was a good idea because that beginning portion was almost entirely consisted of flaws, so I can let loose. Like, yeah, we got that moment when we learned Konami likes bikes, which I mentioned offhand in the video, and I guess Konami blinding Shuko with that projector was barely a tactic, but it was just a solar flare except with a device instead of key. So there weren't any good points very worth noting about this segment of the story anyway. I do have minor redeeming qualities I can mention about the series, but I thought it was best to leave it for the review on the 30 plus chapters I'm planning to do one of these days. Anyways, I'm a geek who likes reading a lot of manga and want to use this channel to share the various series I find. Even if I'm not very well known now and don't know if I can succeed in reaching out to the manga community, that's my aim. While looking for manga, there are series I love and want to show what makes them so great, but in order to do that, I need to explore manga as an art and how they are great, the various aspects they can succeed or fail in, and a great way to do that is to study all these different manga and compare them. Some series I really enjoy and can be positive about. However, I need to be honest about them. The world isn't only made of positives but also negatives, but because of the negatives, we can appreciate the positives. You only realize the value of air after spending some time suffocating. You get the idea, but that's why I acknowledge both. Many series I read have a fair mix of both positives and negatives. Then there are some that lean more to the negative side, and from what I read, that's just where Darwin's game falls on. Of course, this is just my own judgment, and I may not be perfect as much as I try to be. If anyone of you Darwin's Game fans want to share your thoughts on what makes the series so great, I'm open-minded and willing to listen. Maybe I will actually learn something, who knows. I do think the premise of the game taking form of an app on the phone has a lot of potential, and that was why I really wanted to like Darwin's Game. Darwin's Game has an odd case of being a series I'm mostly negative on, yet I still gave a chance for 30 chapters, but that's more because I'm really interested in survival games as a genre. Being a fan of many such as Mirai Nikki, Battle in 5 Seconds, or even some unconventional ones such as Danganronpa. Back on topic, because of this, even if I ended up not liking Darwin's Game much, I wanted to do a review for it, and now that it became a current anime, it's such a good time to do so. By reviewing Darwin's Game, I can explore what makes a good manga, even if it's through using the negative aspects as a contrast. As I said, negatives allow us to appreciate the positives. I really like manga with interesting characters who have in-depth thoughts. However, not all series have them, but then when I find manga that do, I appreciate them more. By looking at a bland main character like Konami, we can see where this area is lacking and understand the value of an interesting protagonist. Even some Darwin's Game fans I come across tend to agree with me that Konami's blandness was a downside of the series, so I think this is a fair point. which is why I nicknamed him Blank Slate Kun. I think the series is appealing to those who are really inexperienced when it comes to mind game battle shonen. The tactics are common sense at best and nonsensical at worst. However, in comparison to all those action light novel based anime, like all those isekai that's coming out now, Darwin's game fights are actually better thought out. It's just, if you look for more anime and manga, you'll find hundreds of series that do this even better. And that's why I try to find more to recommend. So I hope you understand that better now. That's how the world of reviewing is like. I even come across some reviewers who talk down on series that I like, and I have to either honestly accept the points or be able to come up with rational arguments to defend my favorite series. Also, one of the reasons why I made this channel. For those who keep insisting, yes, I have decided to read more Darwin's Game. I think it's worth it now that people are talking about this series. Let's see how it goes. Who knows, the next part might actually be good in some way. I'll keep an open mind. In any case, it would give me more content to base my future review around. Although that would also mean it would take longer to complete the review because I have more to consider. Doing a rant focused on the early part of the series allowed me to get my thoughts out quicker, which I also wanted to leave just in case for the future. Darwin's Game anime just came out recently. I'm not sure what people will think of it by the end of the season, but I wanted this video to be like a testament so I can say I hated Darwin's Game before it was cool. Well, the last video, yeah, that's what I made it for. That's partly why I made it. Yeah, it's partly motivated by ego, but that's part of being alive, isn't it? Too bad I wasn't the first negative Darwin's Game video. Shout out to Dang Duo for that. Also DJ Bro and his friends, although they needed to upload their video. Speaking of which, there's one other Darwin's Game problem I neglected to mention in my last video about that early part in the series. The panda's power is invisibility, right? So he should use that power to ambush his opponent a lot, right? Sneak attacks before they even know what's going on. That's basically how you use invisibility. So when his fight with Blank Slate Kun began, why wasn't the panda already invisible and just quickly kill him with a sneak attack? I guess I might have left this part out while lost amidst all those other problems I mentioned last video. That added to how I couldn't remember for sure if sigils could be used outside battles, but looking back at when Blank Slate Kun duplicated the pen, it's clear they can, which means the panda should have known he could turn invisible and sneak kill people like that. I don't think there was anything that said he can't. No, there was. Maybe there are still some other issues I missed, but if more analytical reviewers look into the series, we might find more. Still can't believe this series is often called the new Mirai Nikki, or a lot of people compare it like that. And particularly Yuno being associated with that chain bimbo, that's just insulting. Although it made me interested in revisiting Mirai Nikki and possibly do some videos on it. There are a lot more great stuff that still need to be said about that series. Although that's going to have to wait as I'll be busy with some other work, which includes more videos. Some of those will be on other new anime this season, so if you're interested in that, look forward to it. If you're curious, I'm already planning to do Dorohedoro and Kyoko Suiri, and maybe I'll also try watching Plunderer. Don't worry anyways, there will be at least something good to talk about this season now that we got past Darwin's Game. Kyoko Suiri in particular, I bet will be anime of the season. So there's a lot to look forward to and I hope to see you there. Later.